The Yak aircraft family covers a wide range of aviation technology, from World War II piston fighters to jet interceptors, carrier-based aircraft, transport planes, and modern training platforms. The Yakovlev Design Bureau consistently reflected the technological evolution of Soviet and post-Soviet aviation, from simple wartime machines to advanced jet aircraft. Yak-1, introduced into serial production in 1940, became a front-line fighter designed to achieve air superiority. Powered by the M105P engine with a top speed of 592 kilometers per hour and armed with a Schwach cannon and machine guns, about 8,734 aircraft were produced. It was widely used in 1941-1945 combat and was valued for maneuverability, but suffered from early structural issues. Yak-2, introduced in 1940, was a light, high-speed, short-range bomber intended for tactical strikes. Equipped with two M103 engines, a top speed of 515 kilometers per hour, and light defensive armament, about 111 units were built. It saw limited combat early in the war, but was hindered by weak protection and difficult handling. Yak-3, entering service in 1944, became a lightweight air superiority fighter optimized for close-range dogfights. Powered by the VK-105P-F2 engine with a speed of 650 kilometers per hour and armed with cannon and machine guns, 4,848 aircraft were produced. It performed effectively in late war operations but had limited operational range. Yak-4, launched in 1940, was an improved version of the Yak-2 designed as a short-range bomber. Equipped with M105 engines, a speed of 533 kilometers per hour, and up to 400 kilograms of bombs, about 90 aircraft were produced. It served early in the war but was quickly replaced by more durable bombers. Yak-5, developed in 1944 as an experimental interceptor, remained at the prototype stage. The project aimed for speeds above 700 kilometers per hour with heavy cannon armament, but no serial production followed due to technical complexity and the end of the war. Yak-7, introduced in 1941, was a frontline fighter converted from a trainer aircraft. Powered by the M105PA engine with a speed of 590 kilometers per hour and cannon armament, about 6,399 aircraft were produced. It was widely used on the Eastern Front and was known for structural durability. Yak-8, developed in 1944, was a light transport aircraft intended for passenger and cargo transport. Equipped with two ASH-21 engines and capable of carrying 6 passengers, only a few prototypes were built, and the project was canceled after the war. Yak-9, entering production in 1942, became the most numerous fighter of the Yak family. Powered by VK-105 or VK-107 engines with speeds up to 700 kilometers per hour and armed with cannons up to 45 millimeters, 16,769 aircraft were produced. It played a major role in World War II and was valued for long range and versatility. Yak-11, introduced in 1947, was a trainer aircraft designed for fighter pilot training. Powered by the ASH-21 engine with a speed of 465 kilometers per hour, more than 3,800 units were produced and widely exported, becoming a reliable training platform. Yak-14, developed in 1948, was a military transport glider designed to carry cargo and airborne troops. Capable of transporting up to 3.5 tons of cargo, more than 400 units were built and used in airborne operations. Yak-15, introduced in 1946, became the first Yakovlev jet fighter. Powered by the RD-10 engine with a speed of 786 kilometers per hour, about 280 aircraft were produced. It was mainly used to train pilots in jet aviation. Yak-17, introduced in 1947, was an improved jet fighter and trainer variant. With a speed of 750 kilometers per hour and around 430 units produced, it played an important role in training early Soviet jet pilots. Yak-18, developed in 1946, became a mass-produced primary training aircraft. Powered by the M11 engine with a speed of about 270 kilometers per hour, thousands were produced and used extensively in pilot training across many countries. Yak-25, introduced in 1952, was a long-range jet interceptor for Soviet air defense forces. Equipped with twin RD-5 engines, radar, and cannon armament, with speeds over 1,000 kilometers per hour, about 480 aircraft were produced and used for airspace protection. Yak-26, developed in 1955, was an experimental jet tactical bomber. With speeds above 1,200 kilometers per hour and advanced aerodynamics, it remained a prototype due to competition from more advanced aircraft. Yak-27, introduced in 1958, became a supersonic interceptor and reconnaissance aircraft. Powered by R-11 F-300 engines with speeds above 1,200 kilometers per hour, about 180 aircraft were produced and used in Soviet air defense units. Yak-28, entering production in 1960, was a supersonic tactical bomber and interceptor with multiple variants. With speeds up to 1,850 kilometers per hour and over 1,100 aircraft produced, it became a key platform in Soviet tactical aviation. Yak-36, developed in 1963, was an experimental vertical takeoff and landing aircraft. Equipped with vectored thrust jet engines, it served as a technological foundation for future carrier-based aircraft. Yak-38, introduced in 1976, became a carrier-based VTOL fighter for Soviet aviation cruisers. With a speed of 1,200 kilometers per hour and 231 aircraft produced, it operated at sea and in Afghanistan, but had limited range and payload. Yak-40, introduced in 1967, became the world's first regional jet airliner. Equipped with 3 AI-25 engines and a speed of 550 kilometers per hour, over 1,000 aircraft were produced and widely used on short-haul routes. Yak-42, introduced in 1980, was a medium-range passenger jet. Powered by 3 D-36 engines with a speed of 810 kilometers per hour, more than 180 aircraft were produced and used on domestic and international routes. Yak-44, developed in the 1980s, was a carrier-based airborne early warning aircraft project. Equipped with turboprop engines and radar systems, it remained at the prototype and mock-up stage after the aircraft carrier program was canceled. Yak-54, developed in 1993, was a training and sport aircraft designed for pilot training and aerobatics. Equipped with a piston engine and a speed of about 400 kilometers per hour, it was used primarily in civil aviation and sport flying. Yak-55, introduced in 1981, became an aerobatic sport aircraft. Powered by the M14P engine with a speed of about 450 kilometers per hour, over 100 units were produced and used in competitive aerobatics. Yak-131, first flown in 1996 and entering production in 2009, became a modern advanced jet trainer and light combat aircraft. Equipped with 2 AI-222-25 engines, a speed of 1,050 kilometers per hour, and a payload of up to 3 tons, more than 200 aircraft were produced and are used for pilot training and combat support. Yak-141, developed in 1987, was a supersonic carrier-based VTOL fighter. With speeds exceeding 1,800 kilometers per hour and only 4 prototypes built, the program was canceled after the collapse of the Soviet Union, but influenced future aviation technologies. Yak-152, first flown in 2016, became a modern primary training aircraft for pilot preparation. Powered by the RED-A03 engine with a speed of about 500 kilometers per hour, it was designed for cadet training but faced limited production due to technical and political constraints. The Yak aircraft family demonstrates a continuous evolution from simple piston fighters of World War II to jet interceptors, carrier-based aircraft, and modern training platforms. This development established the Yakovlev Design Bureau as one of the key contributors to Soviet and post-Soviet aviation engineering and technological progress.